NeuroFlow is a veteran-founded healthcare technology and analytics company providing military and government organizations with real-time, individual, and population-level health insights in order to increase individual effectiveness, readiness, and overall wellness. As the leading military-grade behavioral health solution in the market, NeuroFlow is actively working with the U.S. Air Force across multiple sites to enhance and scale the care delivered by administrators and medical personnel while empowering airmen to manage their own mental health and build resilience for peak performance. To learn more, visit www.neuroflow.com.
Hey, trash talkers, welcome to brand new Throat Punch Mondays. So excited to bring you this from our Female Warrior Veteran Trash Talk edition. This is going to be brand new. We're going to do incredible things. I don't know why in the world these ladies were not part of this podcast from the beginning, but we have fixed that. So I want to introduce to you two incredible, amazing, beautiful women who have also served in the military, who are a huge part of our Veteran Trash Talk community. So if you don't know who they are, then you're not part of our community and you need to come and join us. But we are going to do a quick intro of these lovely ladies. We're going to tell you a little bit about who they are now, what they did in the military, and we're going to get into some really meaty stuff today. So stick with us. And without further ado, I want to introduce Leitha. Tell us who you are, what you're doing, your time in the military, and why you're part of this awesome community.
My name's Leitha. If you're part of the community, you may know I'm one of the admins on the Veteran Trash Talk. I put the crack down on you guys. No, I love hanging out with you guys. The reason I'm part of the community is I really want to end veteran suicide. 22 is way too much. It's higher than any suicide rate in other countries. I served in the Air Force from 1990 to 1996. I was communication electronics, so I did wideband communication, base communication, and combat camera. Since I was a female technician, there wasn't a lot of us, so it was some interesting times. At times it was trying, and times it was awesome. And I've been married 30 years to my tech school sweetheart. So, hey, that's one of those tech school marriage success stories that you never hear, right? But he's awesome. I have 4 kids. I'm currently a student at Brigham Young University, Idaho, studying public health with a minor in marriage and family studies to see if I can make an impact on the community.
Awesome, Leitha, and no doubt you will, and you already are. You're making a huge impact with our Veteran Trash Talk community for sure. So I'm so excited to have you join, and we're going to do incredible things.
It's going to be great.
Lynn, without further ado, tell us about you, my dear.
Hey guys, my name is Lynn. If you know me from VTT, I am one of the moderators on there. I post a lot of the fun interactive posts. Leitha's the one who does all the whipping. She whips people into shape. I like to keep it fun and quirky. I've been with VTT since last year, about a November timeframe. So I've loved it, and I believed in the mission so much. It was Joe that talked to me. He can talk for hours if you talk to him, but he talked to me about the mission and everything going on. I was like, yeah, I would definitely love to be part of that. I believe deeply in that. I was in the Navy. I did about 10 years, and I served on USS McCampbell DDG-85, USS Nimitz CVN-68, FAX San Diego, also Pearl Harbor submarine base. I was an operations specialist and surface warfare, air warfare qualified. I did air intercept control. So that was my specialty. So operations specialist, we did radars. So we gather, process, detect, and track contacts out there and then send it to command and control center. So I worked in a place called Combat Direction Center and Combat Information Center. The nerves, like the brains of the ship, like where you can actually see what's going on. Today, I work with Department of Homeland Security. I have a master's degree in project management. And I am married for 10 years now, and we didn't meet in the Navy. We met at a bar, and we have 3 kids. That's it.
Awesome.
I'm excited to be here.
I'm excited to have you, Lynn. I know, so excited because just in the last week or so that we have been chatting and brainstorming about this, I have just been more and more excited about what we're going to do with this podcast with you ladies. So thrilled to have you. For anybody that doesn't know me or my story, I was in the Army Reserves from 2000 to 2006, and then I went active duty until 2013. I was a truck driver. And then I really enjoyed having my head attached to my body. So I decided to change my job and went Intel. I was an analyst for 3 years, and then I was counterintelligence for 4 years. That's my background. I did meet my husband in the Army. He was infantry. I felt like I couldn't, like I tried to date civilian guys, and I was just like, I'm sorry, buddy. Like, you're just too weak for me. So he and I met in the military. We've been married for 12 years and we have 3 kids. Super excited, ladies. And we're going to talk about something. We have a role that we're going with the show, or like an outline. We're going to talk about some serious stuff for a minute. We're really going to talk about some homelessness with female veterans, but we are going to talk about some good stuff too. So make sure you stick with us to the end. I think you're going to like it. So let's shout it out to NeuroFlow, who is our sponsor. So make sure that you are, especially if you are a leader, you are taking a look at that and guiding your troops to that so that they can get some help they need right from an app on their phone at neuroflow.com. Okay, the big thing is we wanted to come together. Like I really thought about this. Like, I've been really loving the show, and I love being able to interview women who have been through a lot of things. And I before I was asked to do this show, I really didn't like a whole lot of women in the military, because I think it's really hard, right? It's like, I know for me, and I want to get your take on this, but for me, it was really hard to meet other women that I got along with really well, because there's a whole lot of competition. There's this underlying, like, who are you? Are you one of those or one of those? Are we going to get along? Like, how do you serve in the military? And I feel like it's just really hard for women to connect. And so a lot of times I didn't. And I mean, I did connect with a few, like a good handful while I was serving, but a lot of them, like, I was enlisted and they were officers. So I couldn't really like truly connect, like, away from work and off duty hours. But I'd love to get your take on why it's such a battle for women in the military to connect with one another. And I want us to be able to address that, not just today, but, address it more in the future as well, because I feel like that is one of the reasons why, like, we're going to talk about female homelessness, female veteran homelessness. And I think that's part of it, because we don't really build a good community because of that lack of trust, right? I mean, what are your thoughts, lady?
They try to categorize you. They try to really put you in, like, are you the mom? Are you the person that sleeps around? Like, are you, if you're strong, they label you with a certain curse word, which I shall not repeat, but they try to put you in a little, since there's not a lot of female vets, we're only 10% of the overall military. They try to put you in a little pigeonhole. And so it creates, and plus a couple of my shops, I was the only female for a while. So I didn't really get to see a lot of female interactions with other vets.
I think Leitha, you're right. They try to put us in a bubble. Like, oh, you're a female, so this is what you do, this is what you are, especially in the military. And I hate to say this, and I know it's probably not politically correct, but it's a man's world, right? So it's predominantly male. So you have to try to, right? So you kind of have to try to fit in, and then even trying to be one of the boys and being one of the guys is kind of overrated. Because what does that really mean? Because we're all in the military together, And so does that mean that because I'm one of the boys, I have to ostracize this other female, when we're all in it together? Fortunately, when I was in, there was a good population of females already. I was in the early 2000s. And I think at that time they had a push to bring females on, and females were just starting to get on the ships. And so I was in operations department And we had quite a few females. So I was like lucky and unlucky enough to be surrounded by 80 females in what we call a berthing on the ship. So I think also coming into the military, most of us are young, right? So most of us are not 21 yet. A lot of us have that, you know, we come from high school, so you're clicked up, there's different cliques, or you're supposed to be this way, or you're supposed to be that way. When in the military, we're all doing the same mission. We're all like supposed to like just focus on work. So as females, all of us want to be an alpha female, right? Whereas males, like, you know, there's alpha males and then there's other males who do their job or their role or whatever it is that they do. But a lot of times females can be catty. So that's like an obstacle there in itself, you know. What do you think, Leah?
I've got a lot happening in my background here, but I totally agree with you. And, you know, I mean, because we do come from different backgrounds too, and, you know, you have that, like maybe the popular girls and then the unpopular girls, and then we're all coming together to be like on an even playing field. And all of a sudden it's like, there's not really a popularity contest, but it does go back into like, I mean, I know I personally dealt a lot with the whole, like, are you a bitch or a slut? Right? I'm just going to say it. And I mean, I was labeled as both, because when I was in Iraq, you know, because I was in the reserves, I was a bartender when I wasn't serving active duty. And so when I was in Iraq, I saw a lot of soldiers that I used to serve beer to. So I'd be like, oh, hey, like, I didn't know their name, but I was like, hey, Bud Light bottle, what's going on? I'm looking at them in the chow hall, right? In the chow hall. But then when I go on a mission, I'm getting in my ear on the radio, like, what a slut I am because I'm sleeping with dude in the chow hall, right? I touched the guy. I said hello. But then all of a sudden, oh, I'm sleeping with him. And that happened all throughout my deployment where it was like, oh, well, who are you sleeping with now? And I'll be like, are you kidding me? But I was also the bitch because I wasn't sleeping with any of them. Right. But then you do have some other females, like, because I'm sure that probably caused a wedge with other women wanting to be friends with me. I mean, they don't want to be associated with that because you are who you associate with. So they don't want to be a slut and they don't want to be a bitch. So they didn't really associate with me. Right. But then I was also very judgmental towards other women because then I'd see them coming out of somebody else's room or whatever, and oh, here she is going to get promoted, right? So I think there's a lot of that. And instead of us coming together and really trying to help one another and talk and be supportive, it was just easier because life is hard to just sit back and judge others. I mean, it was for me. That was my experience. Leitha, what do you think?
It depended on the base. It really depends on how your command is. You know, how's your commander? Does he set it up? Like my first base, it was a very toxic environment. No offense to anybody I served with, but it was a very toxic environment. But my next base, I served with other females and it was great. And we all like worked together to help each other, you know. And my last base is the same way. So I really think it depends on the tone your command sets and the people above you set.
I would agree with that, Leitha, also, because my last command, it was on the same ship. So I was on this ship for about 5 years. And but we cycled through people and cycled through commands and leadership and stuff. But the last leadership that was there, amazing. Everyone got along well. We already did like 4 deployments together. Like this was our 4th deployment together. Like everyone knew each other inside and out, as far as professionally and outside of the ship. And so everyone got along well. And there was not a lot of that cattiness or whatnot. But I feel like when you're initially starting off, like you just don't know what to expect, or especially when you go to a new command. Oh, there's that new girl. Oh, she's going to be a slut, or who is she going to sleep with? Or, oh, or like guys are taking bets about who can get that girl first, you know, like, so that's the kind of environment that we had to step into. And because of that, you know, like for me, I focused on work. work, like be the best that you can be and do your job, so just doing the best that I could do and striving to be the best like air intercept controller or best operations specialist, or just being professional all around. And for my first few years, I didn't really make a ton of friends. So, but then my last year, we're a friend, we're family, we were all friends. So.
Well, good. And hopefully we can kind of start addressing more and more of that sort of thing and kind of crushing it, because, the more that I do this show and talk to more female veterans, the more I know, like, everybody felt very similarly, and there is a huge community of women who have the same thought process and mindset and served like with honor and integrity. And I think it's important for us to find each other, so that we can help each other. And that's really what we're trying to do with our female warrior edition. Sorry, my brain is like not working. And doing a Throat Punch Mondays, like, we're really going to start attacking some issues, but we're not always going to be so down in the mouth about it. And we want to find more of you out there. Like, if you are a female veteran, like, searching for your people, we're here. Here we are.
We are your people.
Here we are. So with that being said, let's move forward a little bit. Let's talk about, I love this. So Leitha actually brought this up with homelessness with female veterans. And I had seen some stuff about this before, but I hadn't really had an opportunity to talk about it. So I'm excited that we're going to spend some time tonight talking about it. And that's an issue that homelessness in veterans for the VA, right, estimates let me try again. The VA estimates 40,000 homeless veterans on a given night. The women's homelessness amount is growing by 7% a year, and the male veterans homeless population has slowed down to only 1%. My brother's clapping for me out there. So, I mean, this is pretty intense, right? So we've got female veteran homelessness is growing. Our male homelessness is decreasing. Like, why? Why is that happening?
Okay, so I have a story time, if that's okay. I served with she's one of my bestest friends. We served in the Navy together. We did about 3 deployments together. And I remember when she first got on the ship, I was like, you look cool. You're going to be my friend. Anyway, fast forward to today, she's out of the Navy, disabled veteran, and then got into some rough times. So I just talked to her like a couple days ago, and she's been in this abusive relationship, domestic violence. So she had nowhere to go, right? And this is not the first time that it's happened to her. She's left, and then she can't find a place to go. Like, shelters are not taking her in. She does have kids, or they're to capacity, or you have to fill out paperwork to meet their standards, like to be able to qualify. So you have to qualify to even be into these shelters. And this is not even talking about veterans. This is talking about like women's shelters. So you have to qualify to even stay there. Or you go to a shelter and then you find out later on there's fees. So they're charging you fees from staying there, So she's gotten turned away a couple times. And she's also looked for assistance. Now get this. The state that she's living in says that she can't get assistance. Why? Why can't she get assistance? Because she's a disabled veteran. She's getting 60% disability. So she's like just a tad over poverty line. So poverty line is like right here, and like she's literally like right on top of it. They're like, well, nope, too bad. You don't qualify for Section 8. You don't qualify for food stamps. You don't qualify for welfare. Like, no. So, and the place that she lives has very little resources. And I've even tried to research for her, for people in her situation. So most of the places that would help are like in the Northeast area, not in the South. So we're in the South. But yes, it's very unfortunate. And I was like, you know, you would think as a veteran, especially a female with children, like there should be resources out there, but no, they give you hotlines to call. Then they tell you, okay, go look at this place, blah, blah, blah. But then those people tell you, okay, well, then you can do this and that, but they don't really like offer any real help. So it's really difficult for her, especially that, I mean, and she's not a drug addict. She's not an alcoholic. So where does she go? If she's a victim of domestic violence, and there's very little places to even go, any safe places there. You know, as a female veteran, you would think there was other resources to go to, but there isn't. So at this point, she's actually staying at a hotel. So she barely, like, you know, the first just came around, so she barely got money, you know, to be able to afford even being at the hotel for who knows how long. Because once that money runs out, then it's gone. Because you get your disability pay the first, and then that's it. So.
Wow. And so, and I want to clarify, Lynn. So she's tried to go like through the VA also and gotten help?
She's gone through the VA and asked for assistance or asked for help. And all they do is give her websites or tell her, well, why don't you try this place or this place and this, and she's gone to those places. And there's probably about 3 female shelters like that take kids also. They're either full or you have to qualify, and there's all these other stipulations to even try to get in. So,
but those shelters are not veteran specific.
It's like women, so nothing for female veterans with children.
Now, Leitha, you had some good information about this, like maybe that ties in, right? It's like why?
What's it? There's actually a higher number of female veterans that are homeless, but they're not counted because it says there's 5 distinct reasons. This is from the VA. A large percentage of female veterans facing homelessness find ways to live with family or friends. They couch surf for an extended period of time. 2, many feel unsafe sleeping on the streets, even in shelters, because it is very unsafe for a female out there. It's unsafe for anybody out there, to be honest. 3, many homeless facilities focus on the larger population of male homeless veterans. So a lot of the homeless places just focus on the male homeless veterans because that population is larger. And so they're also more likely to reach out to the VA services than their female counterparts. So a lot of the places are more likely to offer services to the male homeless veterans with VA stuff over the female homeless veterans. Number 4, many female veterans with children are worried that by accessing services or asking for help against homelessness, their children will be removed from their care. When I was a kid, we lived in the car a lot, and that was the main reason my mom never went for help, because she was very scared that we would get taken away if she did. And then number 5 is others learn that many shelters have limits on the number of children that can accompany their mothers, so they don't even bother to go.
I mean, that's just crazy to me. Because first of all, are there not any male veterans that have kids too? But that's not an issue, I guess. You know, it seems like, I don't know. I mean, I feel like we deal with so much when we're in, we just kind of learn to shove it all down. So then when you get out and you do have issues, which I don't have stats on this, but I think maybe, and y'all correct me if I'm wrong, but like one of the issues that leads to homelessness is because they don't know the resources that are available, and they don't seek the help, like for PTSD and anxiety and depression and stuff that they have. And that ends up, because I feel like a lot more males end up seeking help for those things.
That's because it shows differently in males and females. So PTSD for males, a lot of times will show up in like violent outbursts or Do you see what I'm saying? But in females, it shows differently. Just like autism, signs for autism in females and males are totally different. So they may not realize that they have PTSD. They may just think, oh, it's hormones or it's, do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. For a female's trauma response would be like working overtime and working super hard, like trying to like fix herself up, like be pretty and all that. So the signs are definitely different. And what the VA is looking for is for you to look homely, like no makeup, and you look all like ragged, no shower. You don't want to work. Whereas females, and I don't say like it's for all, and this is not all males either, but for females, our trauma response is to like overwork and be over independent.
Right. And just not talk to anybody. Like, oh, I'm fine.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Fine. Yeah. Females, I'm fine.
Everything's fine.
Okay.
Everything's
fine. Yep.
Also, I've read I read a study that was done that if you look at where the VA centers are located, or even places that help like homelessness population, a lot of them are located in like the Northeast population, because it centers around the fact of like World War I, World War II, Vietnam and Korean veterans. And that reflected the population back then, where the men in the population were all in like the Northeast area. And now when you look today, most of the veterans come from the South. They come from the West, California, Texas, Florida, and like around that area. And most veteran women are going to be in the South or Southeast. So you're not going to see a lot of help for women in the Southeast or South. So that's another disparity there in the system. Oh,
poor baby.
It's that mom life. Daddy's home, but
yeah.
Well, yeah. Anyway. Yeah. I mean, so what do you think, ladies? Like, I mean, I feel like as a whole, sorry, she's still crying. As a whole, like the VA needs so much work,
Yeah.
But what do you feel like should mostly be addressed here, or how we could help in that? I mean, not just we three, but as a community, like what needs to be done or how we can help. Like I think it's good we bring it up.
What sucks is that when it comes to homeless females and then a subcategory of homeless female veterans is out of sight, out of mind. And so with women, we tend to not want to be in the spotlight. If we're suffering, we cower away. We're not going to be out there holding signs. We're not going to be out there like doing, like looking for people, looking for handouts, I should say. So out of sight, out of mind, right? And so I feel like what we're doing right now is is shedding light to the situation, and I feel like talking about it more would bring the, what's going on to light. So, I mean, and then, other organizations or people would start doing things. Because, I mean, just from the three of us, I mean, obviously there's nothing I could do. I'm not a millionaire, but if I could, I would build shelters for other women. But there needs to be more coalitions, more organizations, especially in the South, or especially in the more populous states where people do join the military from.
Yeah. Leitha, any thoughts on that?
I think there needs to be more education to women to know what the signs of PTSD in them are. Mm-hmm. And what they can do about it. And the people at the VA need to be educated on what to look for in female PTSD victims as well.
Right. But I think, so anybody that finds this show and listens, if you're struggling, whether it's homelessness or whether it's something else, whether you're dealing with PTSD, I think the big thing is to make sure that you're speaking up for yourself. to get that help. I mean, what sucks is you got to fight for the help, right? Like, I feel like it's so aggravating, especially when you talk about VA disability and that sort of thing, whether you're a male or female, because it's like you served your time. So if there's issues going on health wise, you should have to fight for that. But it's a battle. And I know a lot of people end up giving up on that because it's exhausting. It's stressful. If you have anxiety, it brings up your anxiety levels. Really, I mean, it's crazy. But and the other piece too is I feel like if women aren't speaking up, you don't want to be the bitch. You don't want to be loud and like, oh, she's that girl. But without having to do that, sometimes you're suffering from it. And I know that part is not fun, to be that girl that has to be loud, but the squeaky wheel gets the attention, right? They get the grease. So if that is the case, make sure you're standing up and fighting and asking for help. And even if that's coming to our Veteran Trash Talk group and asking for help, I mean, we're not professionals in that manner, but there's so many of us that are willing to help, not only hear you out, but see if we can find additional resources or whatever. And that's what this is all about, to make sure that our veterans are not alone. And that's why we're wanting to bring this about for our females, to know that, like, we see you, we hear you, right?
Yeah, and I agree, Leah. Like, if there's anybody that's watching this show, this podcast right now, go ahead and join our group on Facebook called Veterans Trash Talk. And we're out there with our family and we're growing. And definitely, if there's a veteran in need, we definitely want to help. And I'm sure we're not the only group, but there's plenty of us out there who are more than willing to help. It's just, you have to let your pride go. Okay, so with a lot of veterans, not just females, let your pride go and ask for that. Say, hey, this is what's going on and I need this. Don't be afraid to say, I need this, which I am someone who has a lot of pride, and it's hard for me to even ask for help. It took me over 10 years to admit that I needed the VA or after getting out. So I know what it's like. If you need somebody to talk to, not even just help, like someone to understand your story, reach out to somebody. And that is the best that we can do, right? Like, you have to be your own advocate at this point.
Yep.
100%. And we're Veteran Trash Talk because that's what we do as veterans. Like, we get together, we talk trash, we make fun of each other for, because we all know that Leitha didn't do anything in the military because she was Air Force.
Yeah. Right on the smartest branch in the military.
When secretly I'm jealous that I didn't join the Air Force. But I mean, that is what we do. But when it comes down to it, everybody in that group cares. We care for one another. We want everybody not only to succeed, but to thrive. And that's what we're here for. So
I mean, it's like a family, right? So we're all siblings. Like, we can trash talk each other, but don't mess with one of my siblings, because I got their back like 100%. You know what I mean? So like, definitely, I got your 6. So
right. Most definitely. All right, ladies, do we have any parting thoughts? Oh, we got on the bright side. I almost forgot. Shoot, first time.
There's a new world war.
On the bright side, Leitha.
Sorry. I'm getting used to this. Steven Spielberg and Tom Hanks has started filming again a new World War II series. I don't know if you guys have seen Band of Brothers in the Pacific. Those were really good ones. This one's called Masters of the Air. It's based on the American bombers called the 8th Air Force. Yay, Air Force. Who actually were the first to risk flying at 25,000 feet in the air so they can sneak past the Germans to bomb the Germans. And they did it in broad daylight. So it was pretty cool. I can't wait to see this one. If you're a history nerd, you'll want to see it.
Yes, I am. And Band of Brothers, somebody actually just asked that in our group the other day, and like what their favorite military movie was. And I said, it's not a movie, but Band of Brothers is my favorite.
Yeah,
So,
it's a good one.
yeah.
Oh, it's going to be on Apple TV.
Sweet. Even better. Even better. All right, ladies, I'm going to work on my speaking skills. Do we have any parting thoughts before we give them the last little bit here?
Just remember, you're loved and cared for. Never give up.
What she said.
If you can't tell, Leitha is like she's definitely like the loving mom, and that's why she brings down.
That's what Joe tells me.
Yeah.
Joe says, you're like the mom with the group. Okay. I don't mind that.
The mom who like disciplines the child, but like with a smile, but then the child feels bad because she just says it in such a way that like, yeah, you messed up, like blah blah, you should love me though.
Lay on the mom guilt.
The mom guilt for sure.
It works. I need to pick up on some of that.
I'm just so happy to be here, and Leah, thank you so much for reaching out to us and starting this on our first episode. I'm so nervous, so I just can't wait to keep doing this and doing more episodes and getting more comfortable with speaking in front of a camera.
I'm excited. It's great, and I'm so excited to have you on here. It just made sense. It's a fit. Like you're such a huge part of the community, and I know that you have so much value to bring. And so far, I'm pumped. Like you all already made this 10 times better than I ever could have. So I appreciate you both, and I'm excited about future episodes. So to our listeners, remember that you are 10% of the 10%. And don't let anyone ever tell you, because you're a female that served, that your service wasn't as hard or as important as anybody else's. We are your voice, and we will be heard. We will be heard. We want you to be heard. So let us know if there's something that you'd like to hear about on our show. Just comment about it below. And don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button, and come join us over on Facebook at Veteran Trash Talk. We'll see you soon. One final shout out to our sponsor, NeuroFlow. Make sure you're checking them out at neuroflow.com for your mental health needs. There's an app on your phone, easy peasy. And all right, we will see you all next time.
Bye.
Bye. Yeah, throw punch.
I'm Natalie. And I'm Kelsey. And we're going to be making an apple pie. Now, just to let you all know, this is not a normal apple pie. We're going to have clovers and apples around the crust. We're going to put sprinkles in the batter. And we're going to make a green crust. So, wish us luck. All right, let's get to it. This is our shamrock pie.